Hey, it's Blake Clark here. I'm at the capital of drama, comedy, farce. No, not Washington, D.C., Hollywood. The difference is, in Hollywood, they have a budget they have to stick to. Also, if this was Washington, D.C., you see here, this is Hollywood, their hands are in cement. If it was Washington, their hands would be in your pocket.
Hi, I'm Alan Keyes in Washington, D.C. Who hasn't laughed a little at the government's insatiable appetite for our money and the ridiculous ways they spend it? But let's face it, hundreds of billions of dollars lost to waste, fraud, and mismanagement is no laughing matter. Join us for the next half hour as we explore the real-life impact of government waste and how you can fight it. Corruption and mismanagement in federal programs is more than a waste of money. It's a human tragedy as well. Nowhere is this more apparent than at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, where each dollar wasted is a dream deferred. Here's the story of just one neighborhood destroyed by fraud in the housing agency.
We know that there's something wrong. We can see it. We can hear of it. We hear rumors. Can't put a finger on it. When we moved here, the neighborhood was well kept up, and everybody was more or less proud of their homes.
But then in the 80s, we began to notice all over Trinidad, the apartment signs, for sale signs began to just pop up like crocuses.
Joe and Korea Strouder have witnessed the decimation of their neighborhood, a place in northeast Washington, D.C. called Trinidad, where they've lived for over 40 years.
There was something not right about what was going on in the community.
Fortunately, the Strouders were not the only ones alarmed by these developments. In 1984, former HUD review appraiser Sarah Lyon approached HUD Deputy Inspector General Hilton Green with evidence of widespread fraud. Using faked credit reports, front buyers, and false appraisals, hustlers out to make a fast buck at taxpayer expense got HUD-backed loans to buy up apartment buildings all over the District of Columbia.
They would have a hidden contract. They would buy a piece of property and flip it for almost twice what they had paid for it, with very little renovation, maybe cosmetic renovation. The game was just to get as much money out of it as that they could.
Speculators pocketed the loan money and defaulted on the properties. Foreclosures exploded. This HUD scandal in D.C. cost taxpayers at least $10 million, and it cost some tenants their homes.
Many of the people were unaware that properties were entering foreclosure. Some of the individual owners who had gotten FHA insured mortgage skimmed the rents. There were people who were evicted from their homes. It wasn't a pleasant feeling.
Most of the people living in the apartments at the time were older people. They were so broken-hearted at losing what they thought would be a permanent home. Two people in particular didn't live that long.
HUD was hammered by numerous scandals involving fraud and mismanagement in the 1980s, but the agency is changing under the stewardship of Secretary Jack Kemp and Deputy Secretary Alfred Delabovie.
During the entire period of the 80s, HUD has lost billions of dollars because of inappropriate outside influence, lack of coordination, and lack of management. It's too bad that the Grace Commission recommendations were not implemented here at HUD when they were made in 1983. All of the HUD scandals would have been avoided if the Grace report was read, listened to, and action was taken.
Established by Ronald Reagan, the Grace Commission made over 2,400 recommendations designed to eliminate government waste. HUD was one of the first federal agencies to respond by naming a chief financial officer to improve management and oversight.
Well, our basic approach has been to recognize that this department has a social purpose, but we can manage to that social purpose at the same time as we protect the taxpayer's investment.
All a private corporation does is try not to waste the stockholders' money. And what right do government people have to blow hundreds of billions of dollars of waste of taxpayers' money and then come back and say, give me more to poor middle-income families?
HUD and all other agencies should be accountable rather than just take our money and then we don't see any results of it. I don't think that's right.
Investigations of the HUD scandal by a multi-agency task force have led to 62 convictions and the recovery of $6.5 million in restitution.